All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our second event of the new Find Your Future Research Destination online series, today featuring research in Bavaria. We are glad that so many people are joining from all over the world. But before we start, we would like to get to know you a little more. So we have prepared a few questions and we kindly ask you to answer them. And do not be surprised, today's audio might have a little delay whilst the screen is slightly quicker. And while you are answering your short warm-up questions, let me continue. My name is Clarissa Rademacher, and I'm representing the Research in Germany initiative, executed by the German Academic Exchange Service and funded by the Federal Ministry of Research, Technology and Space, and I will be today's moderator. In the background, my colleague Inji Nafi will be assisting with the Q&A box, moderation and the technical support, and she will also provide you with an overview of Germany's funding system later on. Our new online event series offers international PhD candidates and postdoctoral researchers the opportunity to gain a comprehensive understanding of the diverse German research landscape, and together with universities, non-university research institutions, research-based companies, and representatives from federal and state research institutions, we provide insights into research conditions, funding opportunities, and institutional support services and the life in Germany in general. And each session is dedicated to a specific region, network, or institution and highlights current offers for international researchers. And we are very honored to have the opportunity to lay focus on Bavaria today. But before we get to meet the representatives of the esteemed institutions and to ensure a smooth and interactive session, I'd like to familiarize you with the key features of WebEx webinars. For questions that you would like to address during the Q&A session, please use the Q&A box you can see on the right, which is that one. And if you have questions referring to one specific speaker, please mention his or her name or the name of the institution in your comment. That way we will be able to answer directly or we can moderate them accordingly. And the chat box, which you can see here, is to be used only for technical issues, please. And you can use reactions at any time, of course. And as mentioned and agreed upon during the registration process, we are recording the event. And the recording will be accessible on our website to all participants after the session, as well as the presentation itself. So here you see a brief overview of what you can expect today. My colleague Inji Nafi will start with an overview over Germany's research and funding system. We will then continue with a presentation by Mrs. Zülker from the Research in Bavaria initiative. She will provide an overview of the region, the office's coordinating role, various funding opportunities and career prospects. And after that, we will hear from the 4 partner institutions individually. First up is the University of Bayreuth, followed by the Friedrich-Alexander-Universität, Erlangen-Nürnberg, or in short FAU, and the University of Regensburg, and finally the Julius-Maximilians-Universität Würzburg, JMU. After those presentations, we will open the floor for our Q&A session. And once again, thank you for your participation. I'm very much looking forward to an interesting session. The time is short, so let's make the best of it. Inji, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Clarissa. Maybe in the meantime, when I'm sharing my screen, you can start the polls. You can do that in parallel, and then the audience will have the opportunity to choose who they are and what they're doing. And in the meantime, I will share my screen. One moment. Exactly. I think you should all be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome from my side as well. My name is Inji Nafi, and I am from the Research in Germany team, and going to give you a very quick overview about the most important facts when it comes to the German research system. Just a small introduction to what we're going to listen to today.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. We can
Yes.
see the notes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Very well. Then I can do it like this. Amazing. So before we start, let's start with the first question, which
we can
is
still see them.
yourselves. Oh, okay. Huh? Which? Now I'm confused. 1 second. I should have shared the correct screen. One moment. Let's try this one more time. Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, great. Precisely. So before we start, let's take a look or ask ourselves, why Germany? What are good reasons why Germany should be your first choice to maybe do your research here? First of all, Germany has a wide range of let me click through. Yes, has an access to innovative research infrastructure. So Germany offers you lots of possibilities where you can do your research, where you can conduct your research, and this really helps you from the very beginning. Another option is, or another point, are the opportunities for free and creative development. Germany is known for its freedom and diversity, which provides researchers with opportunities for free and creative development. Another reason, important one, is that is the generous funding opportunities and stable research and development policy frameworks, because Germany invests more in the research and development of new technologies and innovations than any other country in Europe. Another point which is very relevant for our audience here is the scope for international and interdisciplinary networking. Germany's research is international and open-minded, with well over 50% of science and engineering publications by German researchers being written jointly with international co-authors. So it's focusing a lot on academic collaboration, as well as finding new opportunities to collaborate and work together with international institutions. The next reason would be the focus on social and ecological responsibilities. Germany's research and innovations prioritize social and ecological responsibility, which helps to improve social performance across the globe. And international researchers can contribute to this by collaborating on projects and address ecological and economical and social targets. And to put this in numbers, maybe, and see your chances. First of all, Germany is its internationality is very, very vast. There's a large number of international staff with permanent positions at universities and non-university research institutions, as well as numerous funded international research guests. So here are some numbers: over 60,000 international academic staffs at universities, and more than 16,000 in non-university research institutions, and we're speaking of over 30,000 guests, yes, to Germany. And where can you conduct research when you're in Germany? There are different options. Here are the main stakeholders, or some yes, opportunities where you can do research. The most common ones are, of course, the universities, but also there are the so-called Big Four non-university research institutions. I'm going to introduce them to you today shortly, and other possibilities. And as you can see, some of them are either a public or private funding, or have public or private funding, and some either do basic or applied researchers. And again, today, because we have already 4 very esteemed universities, they will show you what they do. And at the same time, I'm going to show you just a couple of examples for the non-university research institutions. For instance, the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft, the Helmholtz Association for German Research, the Leibniz Association, the Max Planck Society, and they engage in basic and applied research in all major fields of science and research. And the Big Four are comprise dozens of research institutions institutes with different specialty areas, frequently pursue interdisciplinary work with international teams, and operate research infrastructures and large-scale facilities, and some which are unique worldwide. But there are not only research institutions, but also funding organizations in Germany. And I'm going just to highlight three renowned ones. And I think the names might be heard a couple of times in the next couple of moments. First of all, the DFG, which is the largest funder of research at higher education institutions and non-university research institutions in Germany, with an annual funding volume of almost 4 billion euros. That was in 2023. The next one is the DAD, which is the world's largest funding organization for international students and academic exchange. This is where Clarissa and I work. And last but not least, the Humboldt Foundation, which is it's funding for outstanding individual academics. And at the same time, at the non-university research institutions, there are, you cannot only, it's not limited just to conduct research, but they also provide funding. And there are important funding programs that are established by the government, for instance, the Excellence Strategy, Pact of Research and Innovation, Industrial Collaborative Research, exist high-tech Gründerfonds, and the European Research Funding Horizon Europe. Maybe you've heard of a couple of these names, and it is like these are like part of the funding infrastructure that Germany supports in order to achieve cutting edge research at universities and non-university research institutions. And yes, so for instance, some of these programs, such as the Excellence Strategy, they support universities and research institutions by enabling them to expand their own research and strengthen their leading international positions. And today we also have 4 candidates who also are part of the Excellence Strategy, but I'll get to that in a second. So the Excellence Strategy, it enables and helps accelerating cutting-edge research at German universities, and therefore this Excellence Strategy. A commission of international experts decide on the distribution of millions of euros in funding for excellence clusters and excellence university. And the federal government and the German states set up the Excellence Initiative in 2005. Till 2017 to provide additional support for research activities in various disciplines at German university. And this pact, there was just a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, a new round for excellence clusters, and we have multiple who won this kind of funding. And yes, I think my colleagues will highlight a little bit more about these fundings and what kind of opportunities they have. But what is specifically important for you is that they're very interdisciplinary. They offer multiple opening positions for international researchers. So listen a little bit carefully. Another funding type that I'd like to highlight or share with you is the European Union funds for top-level researchers, for outstanding scholars and scientists through Horizon Europe. And it's also with a huge budget, and it again still supports this excellence science pillars, and they support frontier research projects defined and driven by researchers themselves via the European Research Council, the ERC funds. The ERC funds fellowships and exchanges for researchers through Marie Curie, for instance, actions, and invests in the world-class research infrastructure. And in terms of participation in the Horizon Europe, the funding received, Germany ranked first among all participating countries. So there are different funding types. There are scholarships. They provide financial supports for students, and they are offered by institutions such as the German Academic Exchange Service, for instance, and other foundations and non-profit organizations. They have a typical duration of 1 to 3 years for a PhD, for instance, with extensions. And the research grants, they enable scientists and scholars to undertake a research project on a defined subject with a limited period of time. Exactly. So they are more project-based and are provided, for instance, from nonprofit organizations or from the European Union. And the fellowships, one of the most known grantor for fellowships is the Alexander von Humboldt. Exactly, and they provide funding for independent research, often with international mobility options. And last but not least, there are very more, but these are the most frequent ones, are employments, and these involve a contract as a research assistant or a research associate at a university or non-university research institution, and the funding comes in form of a salary. How can you find these options and these the different scholarships? There are different databases, but I will show you the one at the DAD website. Here, when you click on scholarship for Germany and you click on it, you'll see this page where you can here refine your selection. You can choose which program you're looking for, the country, the intention. And then after your selection, you will get an overview of the possible options that you can have with their deadlines. And here, as you can see, everything needs to be planned pretty beforehand. So you need to start your research and start looking for details right away if you're interested to start. Here are also a couple of examples. Here, for instance, scholarship, a research grant for doctoral programs, for a doctoral project for up to 4 years, which is a scholarship with a monthly allowance. Another can come here, as I shown you before, as a work contract or an employment. And again, each one has its own kind of requirements and different values. It really depends on the scholarship you're applying for. If you still have very little idea about how PhD works in Germany, we've created a very interesting pathfinder called PhD Pathfinder. I'll share the link in the chat later on, where you can step by step go through everything when it comes to accreditation, when it comes to your field of research, when it comes to if you're interested to do an individual or structured PhD. And all these details you can figure them out here as a first supporter. Another database is our PhD Germany database, where we have multiple open positions that you can take a look at and filter according to your needs. And we have here an example for a postdoc opportunity. Here's with the ERC grant that I spoke briefly about as an employment contract, as well as project funding. And here you can see again the scope. And here, this is another example for a Humboldt Foundation fellowship. And again, the scope and how much it is. And you can still find lots of information about entry, finance, family, everything. You can find all of this on our website here at researchingermany.org. And here, by the way, you can click and go through to the Pathfinder. Here you can find the open PhD positions. So the website has really lots of information, but you can also follow us on the different channels that we have on our website and Facebook, and yes, our social media channels. And last but not least, also join us in webinars similar to today's. And again, we have the website has lots of brochures and information that you can use for the future. And here are some important links, and all the presentations will be also uploaded to our website later on. And thank you very much for your attention. And I see, before I stop my screen, I see it's still running in parallel. We have a slight delay between the podcast and the broadcast and the live stream. So thank you very much. And in the meantime, I would like to ask Ms. Söker, who's representing research in Bavaria, to open her camera and start sharing the screen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Napier. Welcome, everybody. I am starting to share my screen. Is it working now?
Yes, we can see you perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, welcome, everybody. My name is Christine Söker. I want to present Bavaria as your future research destination today. I'm doing this on behalf of the initiative Research in Bavaria, which was jointly launched by the Bavarian State Ministry of Science and the Arts and all public research universities and universities of applied sciences. Its objective is to address people like you interested in a PhD or postdoc abroad, as we want to attract people with fresh ideas and work together, as commonly said, to push the boundaries of knowledge a bit further. Okay, you might wonder why that focus on a specific region in Germany and what this has to do with research. Maybe you have even never heard about Bavaria, who knows? But chances are that you have a vague idea, and you may have heard about our fairy tale castles in the Alps, about our Bavarian folk festivals, with Oktoberfest in Munich being only one of them. And I could continue with the car industry and German engineering and our very famous football team, etc. But why is Bavaria also of interest to us today as we talk about research? First, you should know that Bavaria is also a federal state of Germany. And as such, it is responsible for education and research, especially for its universities. That means that Bavaria provides their main financial support. It is responsible for higher education, construction work and infrastructure. It creates the legal framework for research and innovation, and it protects the freedom of science and research, which in Germany is guaranteed by the Constitution. Last but not least, Bavaria also promotes innovation by fostering collaboration among researchers, institutions, and the economy, as well as by providing excellent infrastructure. So let's get to know a bit about Bavaria. As you can see on this map, Bavaria is in the heart of Europe. You might even say that it is the heart of Europe. It's larger than many of its neighbor countries, for example, Switzerland or Belgium, and it is the largest of our 16 federal states in Germany, home to 13 million inhabitants. We have one of the strongest economies and the lowest unemployment rate in Germany, and that attracts many people. Today, around 16% of our citizens come from abroad, mainly from other European countries, but there are also nearly 60,000 people coming from India, or 30,000 coming from China, for example. Munich is the largest city in Bavaria, followed by Nürnberg, Augsburg, and Regensburg. This is to help you understand the region's economic power put in relation here to the EU's largest economies. If it was a country, we could say it would be number 7 in the EU in terms of the GDP. The specific strength of the region is due to, on the one hand, the presence of large companies and innovative SMEs. You probably know many of the global players shown here, like Siemens or Infineon, Audi or BMW, who have their main seat here. And then international tech companies have joined them in recent years, many of them having their European or German headquarters based in Bavaria. So why did they come here? Well, one of the reasons, and that brings us to the second pillar of Bavaria's strength, is that here they find the talent they need, that is, highly educated people from our universities. The state invests around 22 billion euros in research and development each year, and universities and researchers make the most of it. I've brought you 2 examples here. You have just heard about Germany's most prestigious funding program for universities, the Excellence Strategy. The aim is to strengthen top-level research in areas that are highly competitive internationally, the Excellence Clusters, and also to strengthen universities that present particularly ambitious institutional strategies. It's a highly selective process where Bavaria's universities are very successful, and you will probably hear more about the selected clusters and the opportunities they present for you in the other presentations. The other example is Horizon Europe. We have also just heard of it, the EU's key funding program for research and innovation. And here Bavaria's researchers were also very successful in raising funds. So Bavaria is currently #1 in Germany. So you see that the research community is quite active. And of course, as a doctoral candidate or postdoc, you will profit from that very big variety in exciting research projects and funding. The time is short. I just want to emphasize a few initiatives stemming from the high-tech agenda, the recent Bavarian investment plan for research and innovation. Here, a special focus was set on topics like AI, quantum research, aerospace, and clean tech. And Bavaria here follows a rather holistic approach of promoting science and research by investing in infrastructure, but also by building sustainable networks that involve industry, researchers, startups, etc. And the aim is to create an innovative ecosystem for the respective technology. So we have the Bavarian AI Network Biosphere with Bayern KI. That is a program to further develop infrastructure for AI research for our researchers. We have the Munich Quantum Valley with its ambitious goal of developing and operating competitive quantum computers. And the most recent topic, fusion power, where additional research capacities are currently being developed. So if you're interested in one of these areas, I invite you to visit these web pages to learn more about the research going on here. I will skip on this and go on with our research landscapes. You have heard about the different institutions, and here you see the Bavarian pictures. First of all, we have the research universities. They are marked in green here, and they are highly renowned and offer a wide range of academic disciplines. They focus on basic research and its integration into teaching and learning, and they are the main place for education of young academics. They all have the right to award PhD, for example, a doctorate. 4 of them will be presented today. That is, I think first will be the University of Bayreuth that you see here, FAU Erlangen-Nürnberg, then the University of Regensburg and University of Würzburg. We also have a second type of universities here, our universities of applied sciences. You can see that there are quite a few, 17 all in all. I won't elaborate on them today. The main point for you to remember here is that they all have their own very distinct profile, focusing on teaching and applied research. That opens very interesting opportunities if you like to collaborate, for example, with industry. We recently opened 22 doctoral centers on selected subjects. So here you don't have like an overall PhD possibilities, but you can do a PhD in specific topics. We have also heard about the Big Four, our research institutes, Max Planck, Helmholtz Institutes, Fraunhofer, and Leibniz. They all have their specific research profile, and there are manifold collaborations within with the universities that you might also profit from. For example, there are very often professors who work at the universities. They also lead research institutes, or in case you do a doctorate, this is only possible together with a research university. So how to join our research community? In the beginning, there is a lot of research work for you to do. You know best what you would like to do and need to find a match with a supervisor or research group. That is not easy. There are a lot of big variety of information sources. We have just learned about a few on national level. In order to help you here, we've built up a web portal, Research in Bavaria, as a one-stop shop for first information, with a career guide with information on career path, application, supervision, visa, etc. We also have a database that is a bit different from the one you have just got to know. Here you can search for researchers or working groups in your field by keyword or using a systematic search here. And the click on the different entries here will bring you directly to the websites of the different research groups, so you can see whether that fits with your interest and whether you would be interested to get in contact with them. We also have an extensive list of structured PhD programs. So if you prefer to do your doctorate in a group, you should opt for a structured doctorate. In a structured program, your research area, topic, or question may be predefined. You work together with other PhD candidates and profit from the common support structures and meetings. And you can very often sign a supervision agreement with your supervisor that is especially recommended. You will get support from the colleagues working for the doctorate. So this is something for you in case you don't want to work alone, but be integrated in a group. We have recently published an interview with a doctoral candidate from FAU Erlangen, Shureta Shegufta, who works on the question why and how snow breaks actually in mechanical engineering and material science. And that has just been published on our website. If you're interested in learning a bit more how this structured doctorate works, you can have a look here. The big majority of PhD candidates in Germany, however, they go for an individual doctorate simply because you can choose your topic yourself and then find a supervisor, define your research question together, and you're not dependent on the author of a structured program. Here you mainly work alone on your topic, but you can also get support at department or university level from graduate schools and other institutions. A supervision agreement with your supervisor is also recommended here. On our website, we also publish funding opportunities. I've brought 3 different examples for you here today that have been published or will be published very soon. Is the Bayreuth Scholarship. I don't know if there's somebody here from Central Eastern or Southeastern Europe. If yes, then this scholarship is for you. It has a free choice of the research area and institution, and you can apply until December 1st this year. The second one is the doctoral fellowships in quantum science offered by the Munich Quantum Valley that I have just mentioned a few minutes ago. The application will open in October. And then we will have quite a few of PhD positions in 2 programs financed by the Elite Network of Bavaria. Approximately 20 PhD positions will be offered in glaciology and RNA research, and the application starts in early 2026. These are just examples. You will find a lot of more on our website. Not to forget job opportunities. Here we publish them on our social media channels on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. And yeah, I hope that you will join us here. That was it from my part. I would be glad to connect with you via one of our social media platforms, and just want to say thank you for your attention. We'll now learn more about 4 of our best universities, and I hope to see you in Bavaria. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Silke. I think it was a great introduction and overview, and we learned a lot, and there were many questions already, so we will come back to that later on. I open now the floor for Mr. Heinemann from the University Bayreuth. So the stage is yours, and you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, and hello to Bonn, and congratulations again to your 100th anniversary and the splendid recent river cruise that you did to celebrate that. Hello also to Christine Söker in Munich and my dear colleagues in Regensburg, Würzburg, and Erlangen. My name is Arnim Heinemann. I'm talking to you about the University of Bayreuth in northern Bavaria, a research university that has a lot to offer, and it is first of all our beautiful campus that you can see in the picture. As you can see further on, we have approximately 12,000 students, 18% of which are international. Our doctoral students, 23% come from abroad. But what has been mentioned before, there are a lot of positions for permanent academic staff. We have 26% of our researchers coming from abroad. The University of Bayreuth is 50 years old now. We celebrate our anniversary this year. Most of our students come from the region, but also from the rest of Germany. And as I said, many of them come from abroad. Our greatest cohorts of students come from, as you can see, China, India, Iran, Turkey, but also Africa, Eastern Europe, and the US. We are very proud that we have the possibility to host all of our students on our campus and provide them with excellent research infrastructure and possibilities. As you can see, the University of Bayreuth, because of its excellent research performance, is in all relevant international and global rankings. I will not say a lot about that. We have 7 faculties in Bayreuth, 2 in natural sciences, 1 is our law and business school, 2 in humanities and social sciences, 1 engineering science faculty, and our newest faculty in life sciences with a focus on food, nutrition, and health sciences on our second campus that is approximately 25 kilometers north in the beautiful city of Kulmbach. We have shaped our research capacity in 12 focus areas. You can see that a lot happens in natural sciences and material sciences, such as the high pressure and high temperature research, where we engage in our strong Fraunhofer groups, or our polymer and colloid sciences, where we offer research at the Bavarian Research Institute. But we are also part of the German Excellence Initiative, as mentioned before, with our Cluster of Excellence Africa Multiple in African Studies. So we offer a lot of opportunities in all these areas that you can see here in this slide. I would also like to mention our energy research and energy technology, especially since we are building the Bavarian Center for Battery Research and Battery Technology and are strongly connected in our hydrogen research with the production and testing facility in Wunsiedel. So the research areas that you can find are all part of our internationalization strategy that we have developed over 15 years ago. Our current version, the strategy 2030, optimizes our cosmopolitan campus for international early career researchers and students. We foster our communication in all our internal and external communities, but work most decisively on our global research networks. And we do this on the basis of profile data of internationalization so that we have data evidence for our strategies and activities. We have developed global strategic hubs in Europe, North America, Oceania, and Asia, but have strategic regions, as I have mentioned, in Africa with 4 research centers and 1 leadership program in Tanzania, Latin America, and 1 particular focus also on collaboration with India. We work with over 300 institutions worldwide, mainly focused on research and mobility for research-oriented education. Our doctoral support in Bayreuth is mainly part of the university-wide graduate school. Our graduate school is a support unit and institution for all general aspects of doctoral training. As you can see here, the common goal is to foster an international, national, interdisciplinary network of all doctoral candidates and create the best conditions for doctoral training. There is, of course, a mandatory kickoff seminar and e-learning course on good scientific practice. But of course, we offer also funding support for conferences, research stays, summer schools, etc., to every doctoral student and member of the graduate school. Then we have a broad qualification program that offers advice and coaching. So the second unit is the so-called WIN Academy that is tailored to all career levels after the doctorate. So postdocs receive orientation for non-academic and academic career paths. Habilitation candidates and junior research group leaders and junior professors receive individual support for the application for a professorship. And we offer a research stay grant in this context for funding of a short stay of 1 to 3 weeks at a national and international university or research institution. And we have also here for postdocs a broad qualification program for advice and coaching offers. So this qualification program happens in cooperation with other UBT services and external trainers. This program is specifically tailored to the needs of early career researchers and prepares for both, as I said, academic and non-academic careers. So we offer workshops that cover fundamentals, very important, of project and time management, good scientific practice, gender aspects in science, career planning, communication, leadership, as well as publication strategies and entrepreneurship skills. The University of Bayreuth is clearly an entrepreneurial university with our Institute of Entrepreneurship and Innovation and a grant incubator and many spin-offs. Workshops are regularly evaluated by participants to ensure high quality and adapt to the requirements of each career level. And of course, it is possible to attend individual workshops and trainings and acquire certificates for them. Here you see 2 of the certificates, the Bayreuth WIN certificate and the WIN Fund certificate, so that you can prove afterwards that you have successfully participated in these trainings and qualifications. And with this, I would like to stop, and I'm very happy to be part of answering your questions. Follow us on social media. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heinemann. That was an insightful presentation for everyone, I think. We will just move right to the next presentation as the time is short. And I would now like to welcome Mr. Schmidt-Engel from the Friedrich-Alexander-University. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and welcome from my side as well. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Friedrich-Alexander-University Erlangen-Nürnberg. And many of you may wonder, Erlangen-Nürnberg, what is that? Where is that? And therefore, we've seen that already, but I would like to mention that once more.
Mr.
So,
Schmidt-Engel, sorry to interrupt. We can see your notes.
My notes. All right, sorry for that.
No worries.
Before, let me see.
If you have two monitors, maybe it helps to share. Yeah, perfect.
Now it's the right one, yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry for that. So as I said, I would like to show you quickly where we are, because we are within Erlangen is one of the 3 cities within the metropolitan region, Erlangen-Nürnberg, and Fürth in the northern part of Bavaria and in close proximity to the beautiful mountainous landscape of Franconian Switzerland. And being in the northern part of Bavaria, which is in the south of Germany, that was already mentioned by Christine Söke, brings us to the heart of Europe. So you are in the middle of Europe when you are at our university. So our university, FAU Erlangen-Nürnberg, is a full spectrum university with 5 faculties. That means that we offer a huge range of different subjects and different research areas, which allows us to offer unique interdisciplinary opportunities and disciplinary excellence. We are one of the 10 largest research universities in Germany, with about 40,000 students and nearly 300 degree programs, and many of them are being taught.
Sorry to interrupt again, Mr. Schmidt-Engel. We can again see your notes on the screen, and the presentation itself, it's a little bit small, that's why. I think after you clicked on the next slide, we were able to see your notes again. Maybe it's best to choose share the entire screen and not the PowerPoint, because that was also my my previous mistake a couple of moments ago.
Thanks for the advice.
Yep.
Let's try it like that.
Yes, now it's perfect. Maybe if you may switch to the next slide to make sure.
Let's see if it stays perfect. Okay, now.
Yes, terrific.
Great. Okay. When it comes to research, and that's of course the main important aspect for today's talk, FAU has defined 5 research questions, 5 research goals that we would like to follow up on. And we do that quite successful, also with about 270 million euro third-party funding a year, which is illustrated by being ranked 7 in the ranking for receiving third-party funding money from the German Research Foundation. And our research profile in answering these questions is mainly defined by our profile centers, representing the most successful and the most developed research areas at FAU, and again illustrating our interdisciplinary profile, ranging from immunomedicine over medical engineering, light matter quantum technologies, solar technologies, to new materials and processes. And it will be accompanied by a 6th one, at the beginning of next year, as we managed to establish a research cluster from the German Excellence Initiative in transforming human rights. And of course, this excellent research is being driven by excellent researchers. And in FAU is ranked #1 in the QS World University Rankings when it comes to citations per researcher. And we are very proud that FAU is the university in Germany with the most Humboldt professorships, just like, for example, Eva Dabrowska here in language and cognition research, or Christian Franze in biophysics, which is the biggest, let's say, research award in Germany. And FAU's research profile is also very driven by our entrepreneurial spirit. We are embedded in a big innovation ecosystem ranging from the already mentioned non-university research organizations we work with up to many industry partners we work with, together with some institutions that we brought up to foster knowledge transfer and innovation, just like the Zollhof Tech Incubator in Nuremberg, for example. And all this is illustrated by the fact that FAU is ranked #1 in Germany at the THE Impact Ranking when it comes to the Sustainable Development Goal of Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure. And this is also be transported to a higher level, to a European level within our European University Alliance, which we are a partner in, the ELISA European University, the European Engineering, Learning and Innovation Science Alliance, which helps all of the partner universities to develop their entrepreneurial and research activities together on a European level. So excellent research at a university is of course only possible when we have excellent early career researchers, and we try to support our early career researchers therefore as best as we can. So this is at the heart of our university, to develop young researchers at our university, and we base our work on a couple of principles. So we define principles for supporting and developing early career researchers at FAU, and we follow also a diversity concept that is brought to life at our university, which defines specific goals, especially in respect to early career researchers. And our early career support covers a lot of different areas and areas of action within our FAU Graduate Center and our postdoc support, which goes from counseling, mentoring aspects, career development, and a lot of qualification offers that we have, funding initiatives for doctoral and postdoctoral researchers, and coaching that we offer, all, for example, in our career program, FAU Next, for more advanced postdoctoral researchers. And of course, this support is not only given from one institution, it's an early career support network with many players at, of course, our different 5 faculties or at the Central University Administration. And this goes from, for example, our Welcome Center, our Office of Equality and Diversity, and ranging up to things like the Digital Tech Academy for Entrepreneurial Engagement and the FAU Startup Support. And part of these activities are also our doctoral programs. And in addition to our general doctoral programs, where all of our doctoral researchers are enrolled, we offer graduate schools and specific structured doctoral programs, which were already mentioned. And we are very proud that FAU is the university in Germany with the most research training groups. These are specific structured doctoral programs funded by the German Research Foundation. And therefore, these research training groups by the German Research Foundation are the highest number of our specific doctoral programs, but we also have specific ones in our university, and in addition, a number of different ones funded by different funding agencies, all of them covering pretty much the whole range of subjects that are available at and are being researched on at FAU. So we all do that to support you as early career researchers to continue and develop in an academic career. That's your plan, that's your endeavor, and we would like to support you in this respect. And if you're interested to do that with us at FAU, check out our job website where our open positions are advertised, and you will also find there positions which will come up recently. So right now there are still some positions being filled in our research training group, planar carbon lattices. So that's in chemistry and physics, or in our new collaborative research center, Chemprint. And in fall this year, that was already mentioned, our international doctoral program, MOCA, which is in glacier measuring and modeling. This is funded by the Bavarian Excellence Initiative, and or in our transregional collaborative research center, cellular communication, colorectal cancer. There will also be positions being open in fall, just followed in 2026 in our new RTG on correlative materials microscopy. So that's more on the materials research. And last but not least, there will be open positions and calls within our new excellence cluster, as I already mentioned, on transforming human rights. So this is a very interdisciplinary topic ranging from research in law over social sciences up to philosophy and economics. And there will be specific doctoral programs, there will be a specific postdoc program, and there will be early career research groups being filled. And the first calls will be out there in fall and winter this year. So check out the websites of the Excellence Cluster, check out our job website, and I thank you for your attention. And sorry for the confusion with my shared windows.
Thank you very much, and no worries at all. Yeah, thank you so much. And we will move to University of Regensburg. Just a little reminder in between that you only use the Q&A box, and also address the person you are raising the question to, please. And we cannot consider all the questions in the chat, only from the Q&A box, and address the person you're addressing to. Thank you. And Ms. Schäfer, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Fingers crossed that I share the presentation and not my notes.
Don't worry.
All right.
That looks perfect.
All right. Okay, perfect. All right, so hello and welcome everyone. My name is Victoria Schäfer. I'm from the University of Regensburg, the international office, and I have, well, the honor of representing our university today. One of my colleagues is here with me today, Irina Goss. She is from our Welcome Center for International Researchers. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. So first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Regensburg and the university in general, and after that, I'll give you a short overview of the main research areas at our institution. So, all right, here we go. Here in the top photo on the right, you can see two of our most popular sites, the cathedral and the stone bridge over the Danube River, which was built in the 12th century. Regensburg is a medieval town with over 2,000 years of history, and the entire city center became part of the UNESCO World Heritage in 2006. We are the fourth biggest city in Bavaria with around 160,000 inhabitants, and also a very prosperous and important economic center in Eastern Bavaria and Bavaria in general. And on the left, you can see our part of our campus, the library. The UR is a campus university in the south of the city, but still very close to the city center. It's only 1.5 or 2 kilometers away, so some facts about our university. It was established in 1962 and is a comprehensive university with a university hospital. We have 12 faculties that are listed here, with the newest being the Faculty of Informatics and Data Science, which was officially opened in 2022. And yeah, there are currently around 20,000 students. I won't read out all the numbers, but on average, the UR welcomes 300 international guest scientists every year. Currently, there are even 355 on campus. All right, let's move on to the research highlights. I would like to point out that the UR is one of this year's winners of the Excellence Strategy. The UR applied for the cluster together with Martin Luther University Halle-Wittenberg, the Freie Universität Berlin, and the Max Planck Institute of Microstructure Physics, right? And the Cluster of Excellence Center for Chiral Electronics will start in January 2026 and initially run for 7 years. In regard to DFG research consortia, you can see here the numbers of collaborative research centers, research training groups, and research units the UR is participating in. The number after the slash would be the overall number of ongoing consortia with the UR as speaker, co-applicant, or participating university. We have 30 researchers, or rather their projects, who were awarded a grant by the European Research Council, ERC, 10 of which are ongoing projects. And there are 3 UR professors who are Leibniz laureates. One of them, Professor Huber, is still teaching and researching at UR and in physics. And also, I'd like to highlight 2 research buildings, the Regensburg Center for Ultrafast Nanoscopy, or just RUN. The RUN was opened in May last year, so 2024. And it was, or it is a research facility that, well, where biology, chemistry, and physics are combined. And the other currently constructed large-scale research building is the CITO, Center for Immunomedicine and Transplantation and Oncology. Their research focuses on new procedures for cancer medicine, among other things, and the planned completion is in 2027. Just a few words on rankings. The DFG Funding Atlas 2024 showed that UR is particularly successful in attracting third-party funding in the field of natural sciences. So if the total amount is related to the number of professors, the University of Regensburg ranks 2nd in Germany. Also the Leiden ranking 2024, the UR was placed 2nd in Germany in the field of physical sciences and engineering. If you're looking at the proportion of publications belonging to the top 10% of their field. And at the bottom of the slide, we've added some of the associated university research institutions the UR maintains very close cooperations with, like Leibniz Institutes and Fraunhofer units. All right, those are the 4 university-wide focus areas that shape the university's profile and are also reflected in all areas of teaching and research. what I'm going to do is I'm going to list some research projects or centers for each of these 4 focus areas. I won't be able to go into detail, but you can look up all of them online if you're interested. Going to start with the dynamics in the global world. So there is, for example, the Department for Interdisciplinary and Multi-Scholar Area Studies, the DIMAS, with the aim of promoting cooperation between different institutions, projects, and researchers in the field of area studies in Regensburg. DIMAS does actually have an open postdoc position at the moment. You can look it up online. And we also have Beyond Canaan, the first DFG-funded Center for Advanced Studies in the Humanities and Social Sciences at our Faculty of Theology. And the Graduate School for East and Southeast European Studies, they have very specific information on their doctoral program online, their research projects and study groups. You can find it everything on their website. Looking at digital transformations, I would like to once again highlight the Faculty of Informatics and Data Science, our newest one. And they focus on IT security, AI, and computational methods in the natural sciences. So I've listed just a few examples here, some projects that deal with IT security and mathematical models and methods. Material worlds and sustainability. Particularly interesting is certainly the Cluster of Excellence Center for Chiral Electronics I was talking about before. The aim is to develop new concepts for energy efficient and high performance electronics based on the property of chirality. And I've already mentioned the RUN as well, a very large scale research facility that opened last year. They are currently hiring PhD students for the research training group on the topic of ultra-fast nanoscopy. Listed some other research projects here as well for your reference, but we'll go on to the next slide and to integrated sciences in life, health, and disease. Besides the CITO that is currently constructed, I'd also like to emphasize the Regensburg International Graduate School of Life Sciences, RIGEL. It offers a well-structured PhD program for young scientists, and they do have open PhD positions at the moment, as well as one postdoc position, both in the field of biochemistry. And there are, of course, more research projects listed here. You can look them up online if you're interested. And if you've heard or read something during this presentation that sounded interesting, please do visit our research website. And there you can find even more projects, research centers, and they would usually publish their open PhD or postdoc positions online. The RUN and the Center for Chiral Electronics are just 2 examples where positions are available or will be soon. There are some funding opportunities or financial support systems at the University of Regensburg. So most doctoral candidates at UR would usually have a job at the university. But besides that, some faculties offer mobility programs. The Faculty of Medicine has even its own doctoral scholarship program called Reform. There are scholarships, mobility grants, and mentoring programs for female early career researchers, and also sponsors and foundations of the University of Regensburg offer financial support. For academics pursuing postdoctoral training who wish to be relieved of teaching duties to be able to focus on their academic career advancement, there is the Academic Research Sabbatical Program. UR Potentials is a rather new funding and mentoring program for early career scientists for the independent raising of third-party funds. as well as to help them set up and establish their own working group. And last but not least, I would like to mention UR Fellows. That's a program that supports interdisciplinary research cooperation, multidisciplinary networking within the university, both financially and via reducing the teaching load as well. And a list of our support services. There are, of course, different institutions and offices at UR that will help you with information and advice. First of all, the WIN, it's the Center for Graduate and Postgraduate Researchers, where you can get cross-faculty information and advice on finding your way along your academic path here with us at University of Regensburg. Also, there is a coordination office for equal opportunities and diversity, family service. We have a Center for University and Academic Teaching that can help you design your courses or improve your teaching. And if you want to improve your language skills, you can go to our Center for Language and Communication. And for our international PhD candidates, postdocs, researchers, there is the Welcome Center would be the main contact for all non-academic questions. So it offers, for example, advice and support on visa and immigration, housing, insurance, German language classes, also for spouses if you're coming with family. So basically all family-related questions like childcare, kindergarten, schools. And the Welcome Center team will also help you with your PhD enrollment. I've put together the most important links, and on this slide, there you'll also find the contact persons who you can address with questions. And I hope that you will take the University of Regensburg into consideration when choosing your research destination in Germany. And we would love to welcome you on our campus and in our beautiful city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Schäfer. That was very interesting. And we got a few helpful tips and even links and places to apply. That's great. Yeah, a little reminder to everyone from the attendee list, you can like questions from the Q&A box, because the most liked questions are the ones we will start with. So if you want to have a question answered, then I recommend to you to like those questions. Exactly, and now we move on with the Julius-Maximilians-Universität Würzburg. And the stage is yours.
So thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are now on the globe. A warm welcome from my side. So my name is Lukas Worschig. I'm from Würzburg University. I hope you can see my slides.
We can. There is a tiny window on the left we can see as well, but otherwise the screen looks fine.
Okay, so my name is Lukas Worschig. I'm from the Service Center of International Transfer from Würzburg University. I'm delighted to present you today Julius-Maximilians University, so simply JMU. Thank you very much to the DAAD and to our ministry, Mrs. Söker, who mentioned that Bavaria is at the heart of Würzburg. To say something about the site, so Würzburg and our small village called Gartheim is at the exact geographical center of Europe. And before I begin, I want also to mention my colleagues, Stefan Schröder-Köhne, who is the head of Würzburg University Graduate School, and Rebecca Steinmann, she's from our Service Center International Transfer Manager. They are here with us in the background, and they will be happy to answer your questions, your cues directly while I'm speak, so please feel free to engage with them at the time. As you can see, our motto, Würzburg University is Science for Society since 1402. What you can see here that we call New University, the facade, but because we trace back to 1402, with over 6 centuries of transition, JMU is one of the oldest universities in Germany, yet at the same time one of the most innovative, forward-looking and also international. Some numbers, facts and figures. JMU has about 26,000 students enrolled in about 250 different degree programs. So we employ 4,600 staff members, including nearly 500 professors. The annual budget exceeds 650 million euros, with over 160 million euros coming from competitive third-party funding. Importantly, more than 2,500 doctoral researchers are currently working here, with about 300 new doctoral candidates starting each year. Over 500 postdocs contribute to our vibrant research community. These numbers may show that Würzburg is not just a university, it is a living international hub of science and innovation. Our 10 faculties span a spectrum over disciplines from the human sciences and law to chemistry, biology, medicine, computer science, physics, economics, and theology. The breadth creates opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration. It means that a doctoral student in biology might find inspiration in computer science, or a historian might collaborate with a socialist. Our faculties are spread across Würzburg, turning the entire city in principle into a campus. You will find the university hospitals, the botanical gardens, the Julius von Sachs Institute, and institutes for philosophy, economics, and more, all embedded within the historic city. This integration of research, teaching, and daily life gives JMU a very special atmosphere. At the same time, the main campus concentrates many of our faculties: mathematics, computer science, human sciences, all supported by the central library at the Campus Nord. It is a place where students and researchers from different fields meet every day, fostering exchange and collaboration. In the Times Higher Research ranking, JMU is currently ranked 175th worldwide. In the Shanghai ranking, we are among the top 75 research universities worldwide in fields like ecology, biodiversity, and medical technology. And in the Humboldt ranking, we are among the top 10 most attractive German universities for international researchers in the natural and life sciences. JMU researchers have won 12 Leibniz Prizes, and no fewer than 14 Nobel Prizes are associated with our university. In addition, we have received around 60 ERC grants, including this year 6 new starting grants. These achievements are not only a result of chance, they come from a long-term commitment to excellence and also support structures and a culture that encourages curiosity and ambition. You can see here the picture of Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, who discovered the X-rays and became the first Nobel laureate in physics in 1901, but also Harald zu Hausen, Nobel laureate in medicine in 2008. Another strength of JMU is our close cooperation with non-university research centers. These includes Helmholtz Institute for RNA-based infection research, the Rudolf Virchow Center for Experimental Medicine, Biomedicine, the Comprehensive Heart Failure Center, the Fraunhofer Institute of Silicate Research, and the Max Planck Research Group in System Immunology. Our research is organized in 6 interdisciplinary focus areas. They include everything from molecules, cells, and organisms to economy, law, psychology, diversity. They also cover tissue recognitions, infection biology, system diseases, and translation into practice. Other areas focus on global challenges, cultural spheres, education, digitality, quantum materials, and data science. To give some concrete examples, our researchers investigate ecology and social change, insect biology, plant sciences, philosophy, literature, and the arts. In the science, we explore artificial intelligence, robotics, astronomy, new materials, and quantum effects. One flagship example is our CTQ-MAT, our cluster of excellence on complexity and topology in quantum matter, which we run jointly with TU Dresden. This is the only cluster that spans 2 federal states with a budget of over 42 million euros in the first phase and involving scientists from more than 30 countries. It explores new quantum materials with surprising properties, materials that could one day power quantum computers and next generation chips. Another flagship is our nucleate cluster, a new cluster of excellence on nucleic acid research and technology, together with Ludwig Maximilians University Munich and the Technical University of Munich. It focuses on its fundamental mechanisms of nucleic acids and how this knowledge can lead to biological applications, including nucleic acid medicines. For young researchers, nucleic offers the chance to work at the very frontier of science with interdisciplinary collaboration and high international visibility. By the way, we have active links, so if you have the slides, you can click and find open positions and more information on that. Supporting our early career researchers, our Graduate School of Life Science is a top priority at JMU. The Graduate School of Life Science, for example, brings together more than 350 principal investigators and over 800 doctoral researchers. 35% of them are international. Since 2008, over 1,000 doctoral students have graduated here with its own dedicated building. For courses, conferences, and events, it offers outstanding conditions for research training and networking. Next slide, I have give a list, so I will not go much into detail, but we also host numerous collaborative research centers. For example, the CR 1583 investigates decisions in infectious diseases, and another one studies cardioimmune interfaces or explores topological electronics. We also participate in transegos, such as the one about ubiquitin systems against cancer, one on biofabrication, stem cells. Also here in blue, there's an active link given if you want to have more information on that. The same holds for research training groups. Here's a list given linking to the research groups with possible positions, and also you can contact directly maybe the researchers listed there. Research at JMU is not only about discovery, it is also about impact. In the Times Higher Education ranking, JMU ranks 54th worldwide in knowledge transfer. We actively support collaborations between universities and business, help startups, and ensure that inventions make their way into the economy. This means that the work you do here does not stay on a paper, but it has the potential to change lives. Since 2022, JMU has been a proud member of the CHARM European University Alliance, a network of 9 universities, including Barcelona University, Trinity College, Utrecht University, Montpellier, and many more. Together we create joint degrees, research, exchange programs, common teaching with a strong focus on global challenges for sustainability. The membership strengthens our international visibility and provides doctoral researchers with even greater opportunities to collaborate across Europe and worldwide. So to conclude, JMU is a place where history and innovation meet, with Nobel Prizes, cluster of excellence, graduate schools, collaborative research centers and research training groups. Würzburg offers an outstanding environment for research and education. Thus, I warmly invite you to consider joining our community, whether as a doctoral researcher, a postdoc, or a collaborator. Together, we can continue to push the boundaries of knowledge and contribute to society. So thank you very much for your attention. Also give here a link if you're interested in academic staff positions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Worschig, and thank you to University of Würzburg to be part of this. Yeah, everyone, we came to the end of our presentations. I think they were very enriching and interesting and inspiring, and we learned a lot. We will now come to the Q&A session, and you should be seeing my screen now. Yeah, I would kindly ask our speakers to also switch on their cameras, and while doing so, dear audience, you can keep typing your questions into the dedicated Q&A box. And again, please address your questions to the individual person or institution. And on a side note, we will be focusing on rather general questions because we don't have the time for individual questions. Yeah, and also, dear panelists, if you have time for 10 more minutes, we would be happy if you join us. If you have to go earlier, that's no problem. We will try to answer the questions. And I think we also all have your email addresses or your web pages. And we also tried to answer questions in the background already. So many questions are already answered. So if you typed in a question, please check if you already got an answer. Yeah, and now I would ask Ingi to start with the first question.
Yes, thank you, Clarissa. Maybe you can stop sharing your screen, then we can see all panelists together. Thank you very much. Yes, one question that was highly approved or with many thumbs up is the first one that I'm going to start with. It's a question. Most funding organizations require that PhD applicants must have secured agreements with supervisors before application for funding, while most prospective supervisors require that applicants must have secured funding before their acceptance. How does one handle this complication? It's like mouse and cat situation. Do you have any advice from your side, dear panelists? So the floor is yours. Open your microphone and go ahead if you have a recommendation how to handle this. Yes, please.
If I could say something regarding this, Stefan Schröder-Köhne from the University of Würzburg Graduate Schools. From my experience, first you have to raise interest with the PI. If the PI is sufficiently interested, he or she will actually support you in writing an application. Having said that, I know that, for instance, DART, correct me if I'm wrong, actually invites fellowship applications all over the world, and I'm sometimes surprised to see that people come to us and say, I have a DART fellowship, so I want to start a PhD. And I always wonder how that works, because maybe the DART experts can explain that to me, because my experience is first get in touch with PIs, raise their interest, and then start looking for funding.
Yes, this is a very, very negative. I think maybe sometimes it depends on the scholarship or on the grant. Sometimes it's a must to have an acceptance letter from a hosting professor. So yes, or maybe someone jumped out. This is also something that can happen. But I think you're absolutely right. It's very important to have a connection, to have a professor that you found, and this kind of support in order to move forward. Thank you very much. Yes, for University Bayreuth, please.
I totally agree with what my colleague said, but I would also add something. Of course, it takes time to write an application and then to wait whether the scholarship is granted. And also in this bridging phase, contact to an institution that might have bridging funds, or more importantly, to the interested principal investigator, your potential supervisor, might help with project funding to bridge these periods, and that is very important. So the contact to relevant supervisors is really key. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for this remark, for sure. It's there are different opportunities, like there are different ways to fill these gaps. So connections is key. Clarissa, back
Thank
to you.
I saw there are two similar questions, and they are both referring to age. And interestingly, this is a question we get a lot. So maybe one of you would like to refer to that question. So there are people who are 50 plus or 43, as another one mentioned, and they're wondering if there are funding programs who have age limitations, or if this is something which is not considered at all. So maybe one of you would like to address that question, dear panelists.
I could say something. I mean, in Germany, many of the, let's say, prestigious funding projects, especially after the PhD, have very strict age limits, which can be alleviated a little bit in case you, you had family or times where you had to take care of others. But generally speaking, you should always ask yourself, if you have transgressed a certain age, why do you want to get a PhD? Because a PhD or a doctorate is normally considered to be an entry point for an academic career primarily. That was the original idea. And you cannot have, strictly speaking, an academic career once you have, let's say, surpassed the age of 35 or a little more than that. I think that is a hard boundary if you want to go for an academic career. This might be different if you want to use the doctorate for advancement in, let's say, some non-academic career. It might be necessary for you to take the next level in your career at industry to get a doctorate. But you should always very, very carefully think about the question, why do you want to spend 4 or 5 or 6 years on getting a doctorate? Why do you want this? And is it worth it? This is really something you should always ask yourself, actually, irrespective of age.
Thank you. I think that was an important remark, and also somehow tough, but this is the reality, and it has to be considered what your initial aim is in order to get a doctorate. Inge, would you like to continue with another question?
Yes. The next question is, what is the track forward forward a permanent researcher position at Germany or in Germany for someone who has completed his or her PhD? So what would be your recommendation? What should they do? How can they start?
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe to release Stefan from answering the next question. I think the first step is hooking up to Stefan's last answer, to think, what do you want to go for? And if an academic career is the goal that you are going for, a postdoctoral position would be the best to do. And then you should have several ways to approach that, and you should do that in parallel. So searching for open positions is one of them. Searching for scholarships is another one. And thinking about opportunities to apply for your own third-party funding is the third one, pretty much. And of course, the main question is, which research area would you like to go for, and where can you realize your projects? And all these questions should be addressed more or less in parallel.
Perfect. Another thing that sometimes people forget is also research and development at the industry. This is also where, not to say university, don't go to universities, but it's also an option. So university and non-university research institutions, but also the industry. So know what you want, and that will definitely help you move forward. Thank you very much. Clarissa, maybe one final question, and then we will let our speakers leave like final remarks. Would be my suggestion.
Maybe one question which comes to the application process, because this is also a frequently asked question, how to apply and what is important to have in mind when writing a motivation letter or cover letter for a PhD position. Maybe you have some experience and some helpful hands-on tips, what you maybe consider most interesting when you are looking at applications, and maybe you would like to spill the tea and help a little. Whoever wants to answer to that question.
No, nobody else volunteers. I would definitely say that you need to write an informed email. You know, it's not good enough to say, I want to do a PhD. You need to know exactly what the person does that you approach. And you have to have a very good idea about the research that these people conduct. You have to read their papers, and you have to, you know, raise interest. And you can only raise interest if you write a very informed and plausible email that makes it clear why you write this letter or why you write this email. We often receive emails like, I want to do a doctorate, please guide me. This is not going to get you anywhere. You need to do your due diligence first. You need to investigate the people you write to. And this is also automatically telling you that you cannot write more than, let's say, half a dozen applications at a time, because it's a lot of work to do that properly. And it's only useful to do it properly. There's absolutely no use in writing 100 or 200, let's say, quote unquote, spam applications. This will not bring you anywhere. So that would be some of my personal advice.
I think you took the word I wanted to ask the whole panelists who are with us today and who gave their presentation. We would be very honored to have like your final advice. What would you advise the audience to work for? What should they start with? Maybe what would you like to leave with them as final words for today's session? Maybe let's start with the same like order, like the presentations. Ms. Söker, if you may start.
Thank you, Ms. Nafi. Thank you for this great session and for all your questions. I have had a look at the countries you come from, the regions of the world, and I'm surprised to see so many people from different corners of the world. It was really nice to answer all these questions, or some of them. My final words: Bavaria is a very dynamic, has a very dynamic landscape, research landscape, with an open research community, high quality of life. And as you have seen, we invest a lot, so there's something going on here. But as you have also learned from the session probably, is that you have to do some research before starting through before addressing people, etc. If you find a good match of your research interests and the work of our research groups, the possibility to, or the possibility to get positive answers are much higher than if you start too early. So do a good research and network a lot, use our information tools, and I keep fingers pressed for you and look forward to see you in Bavaria.
Thank you very much. We would move to Bayreuth, University of
Yes,
Bayreuth.
so first of all, I would say you can't go wrong going to any of the Bavarian universities. So they're all excellent. We are in lovely co-opetition. We work a lot with each other. Many of the research projects, as you have also heard from my colleagues from Würzburg, include several universities. And so I can strongly encourage you to go to Bavaria. Second point, we have developed, together with the Ministry of Research and the Arts, a standard for welcoming international researchers that are the basis of all of our welcome centers. So you can clearly expect an excellent welcoming service and support in research questions, funding questions, questions of visas, tax, accommodation, and so on. And finally, the University of Bayreuth, as our president always uses to say, has the most beautiful campus of a university in Bayreuth. You see it in the background. It is a fantastic opportunity, maybe a little smaller than the other universities that you have seen today, but the research opportunities are fantastic. There was one question about degrees. We are specialized in global joint PhDs. We have dual degree programs with excellent universities abroad. So if you want to keep a leg in your home destination market and do a PhD with us, you can always try, whether it is on an individual basis as a co-tutel, or whether it is a more structured, like in an IRTG, an International Research Training Group, or a doctoral school. Here we go. Over to my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we all want to conduct research on the beautiful campus of Bayreuth now. Would you like to continue?
Sure. Maybe I start with totally agreeing to my colleague from Bayreuth that the Bavarian universities are a good choice anyway, and we are working together a lot. And maybe tying into how can you get into the system, I already said that. First of all, think about where you want to go, what you want to do, and who fits your interests. So, and all over Bavaria, you should be able to find at least somebody who is really doing research in the area that you are interested in. And what maybe is important to mention is that the German academic system, right from the beginning after your master's degree, requires a well-defined level of own initiative and self-dependence, which you already should show by finding a suitable supervisor. And this might be a little bit different to other academic systems in other countries, and that is something that you need to get used to. And that may be a task that you have to deal with in the very beginning, but in the end, it will be very rewarding because you will receive a high level of independence in doing your research when you do it in Germany, and of course, especially in Bavaria.
Thank you. Ms. Schäfer.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to repeat everything that my colleagues already have said. I mean, Bavaria and Bavarian universities are top research institutions. And I have to admit, I'm from the international office where I'm working on conceptual overall projects. So not like only with researchers or PhD candidates. I also work with students. So I had to do some research on the topic of research, actually, and what the University of Regensburg is actually working on, what are their projects, and it was very fascinating for me as well. I found very interesting projects, centers, and information online, and this is what I would like to, well, give as an advice to you, also to, if you have a topic you're very passionate about, and do some research online, find your supervisor, find your destination, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our centers for graduate and postgraduate researchers. And yeah, I think we are very happy to welcome you here in Bavaria, either in Nürnberg, Erlangen-Nürnberg, Regensburg, Bayreuth, or Würzburg.
Thank you. The two final men in our group, Mr. Schröder-Köhne.
I think Ms. Groß from Regensburg wanted to add something. Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to add that I wanted to thank you for hosting this event. I wanted to thank my colleague Victoria for the presentation, and I work more on the practical side. So once you might have found a PhD position or a postdoc position, the Welcome Center gets in and can advise you on visa immigration. We will help you to find accommodation and maybe a spot for childcare and everything. And we are here for your entire stay. So you can always address us with any kind of issues you might have. And we would like to meet you here. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for that add-on. And now, Mr. Schröder-Köhne and Mr. Worschig, your last words.
I've already said enough. Lukas.
Yeah, what should I say? I can also agree with everything what has been said. I was educated as a physicist. I was also a young researcher, and I'm also still a researcher. What I can say from a probabilistic view is, if you want to increase the probability to become a Nobel laureate in the future, it would be maybe good to touch for some time Würzburg University and go to the labs there and increase the network. But in principle, what I always say to young people, so be bold, ask the best, most relevant questions to your interests. So interest is the most important thing. And exercise yourself to phrase your interest in a short and clear way, with the aim that the answer can be in principle a yes or a no. So whenever I ask, let's say, important people who have less time, formulate your question so that in principle they can say yes or no. I call this entropy questions, because this is a way to define entropy in the question, in the number of questions, to say yes or no. So you're very welcome. We try to support you. Yeah. Thank you very much to this event, who organized that.
Thank you so much. I think that was a great last tip for everyone we can take home with. Yeah, thank you so much for your attention. And yeah, unfortunately, we have come to an end. The time was running, but of course, there will be more events like this in the future. The next one focuses on funding, which might be very helpful to many, as we also had many questions on the topic of funding. And until then, there are other sources of information, like our Research in Germany homepage, or you can subscribe to our newsletter, and of course our social media channels. And you can find the according QR codes on the bottom of this page. And now I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. A special thank you to our esteemed speakers for their rich presentations, and to our audience. We appreciate your active participation and thoughtful questions. Your engagement is what makes these events so impactful. thank you again, and we will look forward to seeing you at our next event. So stay tuned and have a great rest of the day or night or morning. Thank you so much. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. See you all very soon. Thanks.
Bye-bye.